Hello, welcome back to another Creative Tab tutorial. This tutorial I'm going to go through how to import, export, open and save within Nuke. Now when I talk about exporting in Nuke, I don't mean exporting your final visual effects shot. I've got a tutorial on that called something like how to write out with Nuke, because you use what's called a write node, blah 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 blah. I'll link that below. But yeah, this is going to be going through the basics of, well, not the basics, but how to open, save, import and export. So if you are new to Nuke, this is going to be quite an important one. I'm going to try and do it as fast as I can, but also as informative as I can, because I know it can be, you want to get in there and you want to start doing cool things. Right, first of all, I've got a composition open here, but if I go to File, New Comp, this will basically show you what Nuke looks like just as soon as you load it up, all right? So you'll have, when it decides to load, you'll have a blank workspace. So if I just go drag this down just for a second and close down this one by here. So I'll just click yes, I'm going to save. Okay, and I've got, I'm going to close this one as well. So no, I don't want to save. Right, here we are. This is the view you'll probably have, all right, guys? So basically, to open a Nuke script, if you've already got one, you go File and Open Comp. Okay, and when I say Nuke script, basically, files are called scripts in Nuke, okay? And basically, you can navigate, so if you navigate to your desktop, blah, 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 blah. So what I'm going to show you to do is I'm going to show you, obviously, the navigation's pretty simple. So I'm going to go to desktop, and I've got personal projects, visual effects projects, and I know that the one I want to open is in sign replacement now. Okay, within sign replacement, I've got a load of folders. Nuke files is where my Nuke files are, obviously. But what's quite interesting, right? When you're working within a project, you can also favorite your folder. So what that means is if I'm now in sign replacement, and I know that's the project I'm working on, within that project, I've got some Photoshop files, I've got some Nuke files, Maya, some images, some footage, and here's where my final renders are going to go, okay? Now, when I'm reading in some or importing some images, some PSD files, some footage, and exporting to final renders, I want to be able to get to this folder really, really quickly. So what you can do is I'm in the sign replacement folder. If I just click this plus button by here, and what it's done, because we're in this sign replacement folder, it said, right, name sign replacement, this is where we're located, and it's basically going to pop a shortcut or a favorite to it on the side. Now you've got these little tick boxes by here. What I tend to do is I tend to tick them all, because basically if you were to import a script, you'd use the script browser, and basically it means that this favorite's going to be visible when you're using the script browser. You're basically browsing to import a script, or if you're browsing to import an image, or browsing to import some geometry or a font or some Python, okay? So basically all of your, these are all a different type of import windows, and it's saying if you tick all of these, which I just do, this is going to be favorited in all of them, okay? You can assign an icon to it if you want, like these are the little icons. I just don't bother, so I know sign replacement, click OK, boom, sign replacement folder. So if I go desktop and just click, so we're back on the desktop now, and I just go, ooh, sign replacement, it'll jump to this folder, okay? So like we were going to do, we're going to open a script or a Nuke file. So if I just go Nuke files, and I've got two in here, sign replacement v1 or sign v2. I'm going to click sign replacement v1, and I'm just going to click open. And abracadabra, we have now got our Nuke script. Now, please don't worry if you're new to Nuke and this is all very confusing, because I'm going to have another tutorial going through how to work with node graphs. So I've shown you now how to open a file and how to favorite a file. So if I were to go, for example, back to file and open, you'll see back on the side you've got sign replacement, okay? What I'm next going to show you is how to read in footage or how to import footage. So basically, you can see right at the top of my tree, I've got a footage file by here. It's called a read node. So if I just connect my viewer, which is my viewer by here. Don't worry if you don't understand node graphs. I'm going to go through that in another tutorial. But if I just hook this up, just quickly link like that. You can see this is my footage that I'm importing, okay? And this is called a read node because it's the computer or the software is reading this data off the laptop if you're unfortunate like me to be working on a laptop at the moment. Hopefully you're going to be on a desktop. Anyway, what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you how to read in your footage, okay? So with my mouse in the node graph, which is this bit down by here, I'm going to hit R on the keyboard, okay? Now, going back very quickly, if my mouse was up here in the viewer and I hit R, it's going to do something different. It's going to show me the red channel. But if my mouse is down here and I hit R, it's going to create a read node. So the shortcut keys are basically linked to where your mouse is. Another way of doing it is if you just go onto the side panel, click this top icon, read. So it's going to give you a read node, okay? What that'll do is it'll open this import window and you can see, boom, sign replacement is there, okay? Now I know that my footage is in here, so I'm just going to, don't worry about what I just did then, but my footage is in the footage folder and I've got motion track shot 6.mov. And that's a .mov file, and to be honest, I never import .mov files. I always import image sequences. So a good protocol to use is if you've got your footage, export it as then a TIFF sequence or DPX, whatever you want to use. Okay. Now also, I've got something called sign_shot_#### .tiff, and then it's got 1 to 104. So what is this? I'm very quickly going to show you. If we go to sign replacement, footage, okay, here's our motion track.mov. I do apologize, I've got a nuke file in here. I shouldn't, so I'm going to delete that because I don't even need it. So let's just go back in footage. There you go, it's gone. That's going to stop the confusion. So in the footage folder, let's open that back up. In the footage folder, we've got our .mov, and then it's weird because we've got a load of images in here. So if we scroll through, we've got one image sign_shot 1 to 104, and that's exactly what this is, okay? Because look down here, I've got sequences ticked. Now an image sequence is basically, it's the same exact shot, but it's just each frame is rendered out as an image, and like I said, it's better to work that way. So these are exactly the same if I imported them, they're just different formats. Now down here you can see sequences ticked. If I untick it, it's now showing sign shot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, blah, 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 blah. But if I tick sequences, it can tell that these are all linked because they've got the same, sorry, wrong window. They've got the same naming convention. So it's basically taking all these and compressing them into one. So we know that these are the exact same because I just rendered the .mov out as a TIFF sequence. It's the exact same, all right? I just prefer working with image sequences. I find it's a lot better. Right, so the final bit, if before you read it in, you can preview what this file is. So if I go this drop down by here, this little icon, which I did click off earlier, you can actually scrub through and see, is this the piece of footage I want? Yes, it is. So you've got two options. You now know it's the piece of footage you want. You can either click open. Let's see what that'll do. Boom. If you connect your viewer up, it's opened that piece of footage, okay? So it's just imported it, which is the same as this. Now let's quickly delete that because I'm going to show you the other option. So R again to read in. We've previewed, so this is our footage that we want to import, okay? So last time we clicked open, we can also click next. If we click next, what the software lets us do is it'll say, right, I'm going to open this. So click next. Right, I'm going to open that. But also, if you want to import other pieces of footage, it'll let you do that. So let's say, I also want to get the .mov in there as well, for example, just so I can make a quick compare to make sure they're the same. Okay, select that one, click next. But also, let's go back. I also have an image that I want to read in, which is going to be part of my workflow. So if I go into images, palm trees, and now click open, because you've clicked next on the previous two, click open. What you'll have, once it loads in, is you'll have your 3 read nodes. So let's zoom in, get our viewer. We remember now we've got the .mov file by here, we've got the .tiff, so if you did want to import them both, you wouldn't really need to, but you've got them both there. I'm just going to delete the .mov, and you've also got your palm trees, which were a part of this composition. You can see them there. So that's how you can also read in multiple pieces of footage, okay? Now, very quickly, I'm just going to show you how to import and export groups of nodes. Now, don't worry too much if you don't know how node graphs work. If you do, that's going to be handy, but I've got another tutorial if you don't, okay? What we've got here is my node tree. This is the original shot, and I've just replaced it with Welcome to Miami, because I went on holiday last year, and I really want to go back. Anyway, let's say, for example, you've got your sign replacement by here, where I just put the Welcome to Miami and the logos on there. And then I did some people removal. I removed some of the people in the background by here. Okay, so we've got these coming over. Let's say, for example, this sign replacement, for whatever reason, you wanted to send these nodes to another artist just to check through, but you didn't want to send across the people removal. What you can do is you can select a bunch of nodes, and then you can go File, and Export Comp Nodes. So if I go and save into Nuke files, and let's call it sign_nodes, and click Save. What we can do now is go to File, Open Comp, Sign Nodes, Open, and the ones that we highlighted, it's when it opens now, you'll see those are the only nodes that are exported. So it's essentially like saving half of the file or certain parts of the file if you want to send certain parts to a view. If somebody's working on a similar project and they're saying to you, you know what, those nodes, it'd be handy if I had them, it would speed up my workflow. So yeah, basically, you've now got these to work with. So it's just exported those nodes. Okay. So moving back, what you can also do once you've exported them is you can also go File, Insert or Import Comp Nodes. So you can basically do the same. So you just copy them in, Sign Nodes, and yeah, they appear by here. So that's a very quick tutorial on how to save. I didn't tell you how to save. Basically, File, Save Comp As. So if I want to save it as sign replacement, blah, 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 you can just do that, navigate to where you want to. Here's your sign replacement folder, which we favorited, and click Save. You can also go File, Save New Comp Version. So you can see I've got V1. If I go to Save New Comp Version, boom, V2. You need to have that V number at the end, but you can see it's versioning up. So if I go back now to my folder, VFX project, sign replacement, nuke files, sign replacement V1, V2, and these are the other sign nodes that I did earlier. Okay, so I hope that tutorial made some sense. Check out some of my other tutorials. I'll link the write node tutorial below, and hopefully at some point the node graph tutorial. But yeah, I hope that made sense. Cheers for tuning in.